Sophocles Antigone, a plot summary. It starts at night time outside the royal house of Thebes. Antigone is talking to Ismene in grief. Ismene talks of their brothers both dying, and Antigone tells her of Creon's edict, which is that Eteocles is to be buried with honour, whilst Polynices will be left unburied. Anyone who tries to bury Polynices will be stoned to death. She challenges Ismene to help her bury Polynices. Ismene tries to convince Antigone not to disobey Creon. She says that Oedipus and their cursed family is a reason. She says that they are women and must obey men, and she says that she will beg the dead to forgive her. She is the voice of reason and law. Antigone is very angry and says that she will bury him alone. If she dies, it will be a glory, but Ismene is dishonouring the gods. Ismene, afraid for Antigone, tells her to keep it a secret. Antigone says that she will tell the world of her actions. They both depart. The chorus is the old citizens of Thebes, and this is in isolation for Antigone as she is a young woman. They talk about the war of Polynices and Eteocles, describing the action. There were 7 champions of Thebes against the 7 champions of Argos, led by Polynices, at the 7 gates. The 2 brothers killed each other. Creon enters. The chorus say that he is the new king and ask him why he has summoned them. Creon enters and praises the chorus for their loyalty to Thebes. He talks of a good leader, one who doesn't put family over state. He proclaims his edict. A sentry enters and says that he debated not coming because he was scared of Creon's response. Eventually, he says that somebody has buried Polynices. He says that there is no evidence of anyone doing it or getting away, but the guards had accused each other and then drew lots to decide who would tell Creon. He suggested it maybe was the gods' will. Creon is very angry and shocked that he would suggest the gods favoured traitors. He accuses the sentry of being bribed. Creon tells the sentry to bring him the criminal, or he will be killed instead. Then he re-enters the palace. The sentry thanks the gods for sparing him and vows never to return. The chorus sing about man's strength and what makes a good man. Antigone is brought in by the sentry. The chorus ask why she is there. They recognise her as Antigone and say that she is the daughter of Oedipus, wretched child of a wretched father, Oedipus. They notice that she is brought in like a prisoner and ask what she did. The sentry says that they caught Antigone burying the body. Creon comes out of the palace and asks what has happened. The sentry tells Creon. He is so surprised that he keeps asking for details of what they caught her doing exactly and asking if the sentry is telling the truth. He tells of what has happened. They returned to their post and brushed the corpse clean of dust. They took to high ground so as not to smell the decay. Then a whirlwind came. After the storm passed, they saw Antigone crying out loud as she saw that the dust had been brushed off of her dead brother. She then cursed the guards. She covered Polynices with dust and free-full libations. The guards grabbed her and interrogated her, and she admitted it all. Creon turns on Antigone and asks if she denies it. She does not. Creon tells the sentry to leave and then asks Antigone if she knew about the edict. She says that she knew about it, but says that she was following divine law. She knows that she must die, but she wants to be a martyr. The chorus liken her passion to Oedipus's. Creon says that he can break such spirited horses and says that she is mocking him, and to maintain his power he must sentence her. Creon accuses Ismene as well, tells his attendants to bring her out of the palace. Antigone says that the public, chorus, support and agree with her. Creon claims that Eteocles was also her brother, and she shouldn't bury his enemy. She says that burial rites should be the same for all, and they were brothers, not enemies. Ismene enters, crying. He accuses Ismene, and she admits to helping Antigone, while we know that she did not. Antigone says that she is lying, and they argue. Antigone says that Ismene did no work and she wants to die alone as a martyr. Ismene's only care is for Creon, and Ismene should just save herself. Ismene says that she wants to share the blame, help her sister. She has no life if Antigone dies. Creon thinks that they're both mad. Ismene asks Creon if he will really kill his own son's betrothed. Creon says that Haemon will easily find somebody better. He tells the guards to tie them both up. The chorus sing about the tragic house of Oedipus. One generation cannot free the next. They call to Zeus and ask what man can override him. Haemon enters. The chorus announce Haemon's entry and say that he's crying for Antigone. They rhetorically ask whether he is bitter. Creon asks Haemon if he is angry. Haemon says that he is Creon's son and so loves him whatever. Creon praises him and talks about the joy of having good sons. He tells him never to lose judgment over a woman and talks about the importance of laws. The chorus say that he makes sense. Haemon says that the public agree with Antigone and suggests that Creon not be so single-minded and rethink his edict. The chorus say that he also talks sense. Creon is angry because Haemon is young. They argue. Creon is tyrannical as he says that the city is his. Creon says that Haemon will never marry her, and Haemon says that her death will kill another. Creon thinks it's a threat, but really it's a warning of his ensuing suicide. Haemon rushes out. The chorus warn that he may do something rash. Creon tells them to put the girls to death. He is convinced to free Ismene, however. He tells them to lock Antigone in a cave. Bear in mind that this is a diversion from the original punishment, which was to be stoned to death. The chorus sing about love, how love is a powerful force and even the gods succumb to it. It turns people mad, and love has put Haemon and Creon at odds. Antigone is brought out from the palace under guard. The chorus say that even they would rebel, and they cry when they see Antigone brought to her bridal vault. Antigone talks about dying unwed. The chorus say that she has no glory or dirge, she goes to die whilst still alive. She compares herself to Niobe, who boasted that she could have more children than the goddess Leto, and then she was walled in stone. The chorus say that they are all mortals and must die. She thinks that they mock her, and says that she has no home anywhere, dead or alive. The chorus wonder if this is because of Oedipus. Antigone talks about her father and brothers and their history. She says that she has nobody left to mourn her death. Again, this is inaccurate because she still has Ismene, her sister, and Haemon, her betrothed. Creon tells them to take her to the tomb and let her choose whether to die. Antigone speaks about all she has lost, what she did for Polynices, and says that she would never have broken the law for anybody else, which is a contrast to her earlier argument, when she says that she hasn't broken divine law. Creon insists that they take her away as she continues grieving for herself. The chorus sing about fate. They sing about the role of gods in mythology, and they grieve for Antigone. Tiresias, the blind Theban prophet, enters, led by a boy. Creon asks what the news is, and says he has always followed Tiresias' advice and it owes him a lot. Tiresias says that he heard two birds killing each other, which represented Eteocles and Polynices. He tested the burnt sacrifice, which was ignited, but there was no fire. Then, the fat on the bones slithered off, showing that there is a plague in Thebes. Tiresias says that it is Creon who sets this plague on Thebes. Tiresias says that the public altars and hearths are fouled because of the unburied corpse. No birds cry out because they're gorged with the murdered victim's blood and fat. Tiresias says that Creon must take his advice now, because all men make mistakes, but they must rectify them. Creon says that Tiresias must have been bribed. Polynices will never be buried, and it is sad when the wise man falls. Tiresias says that Creon is sick, and they insult each other. Tiresias says that he helped Creon save the city and so should be trusted. He gives his prophecy. Haemon will die soon because Creon's lodged a living soul within the grave. The Furies have been sent by the gods for him, and the city will hate him. He then leaves. Creon admits that he believes the prophecy and questions whether to set pride aside. The chorus tell him to free Antigone and then bury Polynices. Creon agrees and rushes off to follow their advice. The chorus sing to Dionysus. They say that he honours Thebes over other cities. Now their city is plagued and they ask him to dance. A messenger enters. He talks about how Creon saved the city, but now his fate has changed. The messenger talks about death cryptically. He says that Haemon has committed suicide. Eurydice comes out of the palace. She says that she was leaving the house to pray to Athena when she heard the voice full of sorrow and asks for the news. The messenger tells the story. He escorted Creon to Polynices. They washed his body in holy water, what was left of him with the branches, and buried the ash. They went to Antigone's vault and heard a wail on their way. Creon detected that it was Haemon's voice. They entered the cave and saw Antigone hanging from the neck in a noose that she'd made from her veils. They saw Haemon with his arms around her waist, crying. Creon called for him. Haemon spat in his face and drew his sword. Creon rushed at him, lunged and missed. Haemon threw himself onto his sword, still hugging Antigone. Eurydice re-enters the palace. The chorus is surprised, but hope that she is simply mourning in private. She's a wise woman and so won't do anything rash. Creon enters carrying Haemon's body. He says that Haemon's death was his fault, and the chorus say that he has now learnt what justice means. The messenger enters from the palace, saying that there is more grief. He says that Eurydice is now dead too. Creon cries more, slaughter heaped on slaughter. Eurydice's body is brought out of the palace. The messenger says that she stabbed herself at the altar, and that she blames Creon for the deaths of her sons. Creon continues to cry. He is guilty. I don't even exist. I'm no one. Nothing. He kneels in prayer and asks for his final fate. He asks the chorus to take him away. They conclude that wisdom is the most important trait, and reverence to the gods, but the proud will suffer.